either safe or has a internal mix-up in it.
Right.
At the same time, I don't want to debunk that Zas is top 1 or something. I feel like a lot of players can still use almost any character on Zas if they know what to do and what not to do. But at the same time, look at that damage. You cannot debunk that. That damage is insane.
Well, that being said, that was a tech trap, so technically speaking, it wasn't guaranteed. Nice block. That was fantastic.
That was very important. No dock on A+B.
Man, Fyre already made 2 godlike reads just to potentially stay in this game. Yeah, against 668 isn't really going to be anything to Zas, right? I'm gonna ring out. But 668 is kind of useless against this character, I feel like.
Yes, and this is on a Grøh player to, not use that tool, recognize that in this matchup. Oh, he could have ranked him out, but
this is so scary right now, and that's game.
Oh.
Why were you there? Come on, okay, even if you don't really know the Zas matchup, kind of why are you there at that point? Wow, what?
Okay, that sidestep, but it didn't do him any good at all. Okay, at least he.
Which character do you think that Fyre's gonna pick next?
So, I had this conversation with Fyre a lot of times, and I advised him to pick Killick every time versus Zas matchup. Yes, because Monument is a thing that Zas player has to respect a lot. Yeah. Especially in online. Oh, that was so ugly, but at the same
that was pretty ugly.
At the same time, Feremuntrus just did everything right.
Yeah. Again, I can't really say I can figure out what Grøh is supposed to do in that situation. I didn't actually know that Fyre had a Killick, but if he does, then I can definitely agree with using that character. I have heard that Talim versus Zas is pretty bad.
Okay,
I don't really remember. So he wanted to go for the comfort pick.
And I do agree with that.
Sure.
Even if you have a character that is counterpicked to something, you still go with something you're more comfortable with, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it would have to be something that I specifically labbed, and chances are he's not. The Talim main hasn't necessarily labbed Killick versus Zas.
Yes.
Maybe the RE can do something, though I think that kind of doesn't. But definitely, I wholeheartedly agree with this character matchup than Astaroth, which I've seen him play a little bit, but that matchup's pretty awful. And the Indian matchup, as far as I can tell, is okay, but I don't really see why you would willingly want to do that.
And at the same time, if you think about it, in the game like Soul Calibur, Talim can run her offense almost on anyone.
Sure.
And it's on the, defending player to know all her stuff. So at this point, Fyre can stop playing so much defense as he had to play with Grøh, and he can just run his offense and see how Feremuntrus deals with it. And so far, he's been, dealing insane amount of damage, and Feremuntrus has no clue what to do.
Yeah, pretty successful overall. Not to mention, I would be willing to bet that he's pretty happy about the stage, especially with the current state of the wall. I think at this point that if Fyre is in Soul Charge and gets a wall combo, almost 90% of the time it's going to be out. But we may not even get here. I gotta say, so far during this entire match, not just Fyre versus Feremuntrus, but just the entire thing, I feel like every single game has been a pretty convincing landslide so far.
I'm so surprised he stabbed that.
Just as convincing as Grøh versus Zas was for Feremuntrus, it was just as convincing, if not more so, for Fyre using Talim against Zas. So, Feremuntrus, I don't know about any other characters that he plays. This might be the first time that we're dealing with somebody who's not going to be switching so far whatsoever. So, again, it might just be a difference in stage that you need, and then you have more space to run around. But yeah, he definitely seems to be getting overwhelmed pretty quickly.
One thing that I can definitely see Feremuntrus can do better is try to keep Talim out, because he was letting her just run up to him with the button.
Yeah.
And sometimes you do have to start attacking preemptively, expecting them to run up to you and just keep out. Zas is kind of bad at that because he pulls opponent to him.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he does have tools to keep opponents up.
The fact of the matter is, his buttons are significantly longer than Talim's.
Oh yeah.
And so, at the very least, he can start attempting to take certain bets. Now, that being said, wow, okay.
Oh, that was pretty cool.
That being said, there is a chance that he's a little bit worried about, like, most of the stuff that he does that is relatively long range is, like, some of the few times that Zas goes to single hits. And so maybe he's worried about the RE, which wasn't really a thing in the first game like it was at the end of this first round. So maybe that's a thing. But yeah, it definitely seems just overall Feremuntrus is interested in trying to be aggressive, and this doesn't seem to be working out all that much.
Yeah, and as well, I think that what he should do is try to use more attacks that deal hard, but like that move, I don't remember notation, that deal hard guard damage and push away, because Talim always in a guard problem if she uses a lot of REs, and Zaz damage from break is like around 100, so there's no point of not using that as a pressure tool.
I feel like Feremuntrus also needs to be a little bit more active when it comes to dealing with Talim in his face. Not exactly a character that's known for his tech crouches, but his moves from crouch are relatively solid, so you don't necessarily have to worry, like, Talim pressure has a lot of places that don't jail and or are highs, and so the Talim player is taking bets just as much as you are. So for instance, a duck there could have been a pretty big deal, but unfortunately it looks like it's going to be the end. Yeah, Feremuntrus is having a real tough time just getting Talim off. Very, very sticky, Fyre's Talim is.
And maybe it's not as good, but Zaz's GI game is pretty solid. It's alright. Especially on level 3, and on level 3 Talim do give out a lot of level 3 GIs.
Yeah. You definitely can't use RE against Talim. I can't imagine that that's like a thing that Zas is going to be able to use. He's getting like these solid hits. It's just the problem is that eventually, and he's got to deal with Talim CE at this point, which is going to kill. Well, now he just has to deal with Soul Charge, which he hasn't. Okay, there you go.
Okay, he could have punished it so much more because that was -20. That was a wind cannon that is -20.